And then we also considered two real distinctive ways to define religion, this substantive definition versus a functional definition. Then we jumped into some real sociological meat in terms of the study of religion. We began by looking at religion as a meaning system, and by doing so, and I especially drove this home in the lectures, this approach, looking at religion as, in a functional way, using a functional definition as a meaning system, allowed us to kind of compare religion to other meaning systems that are present in groups. You remember I talked once about Arizona athletics, or I talked about the cleaning rituals that we have in our daily lives. That was a way of getting to see that religion, in some ways, may not be such a different thing than other things that we don't even think about in our lives, but we do. And so this brought us right into Emil Durkheim's work. His ideas, his classic definition, talked about the role of the sacred and the profane, the role of the group, the importance of a religion in terms of connecting a group, and the way beliefs and rituals played in all that. And then we read Peter Berger, who's basically a mid-20th century Durkheim, where he then takes us more into the heart of what's particular about religion in kind of this functional sense. So not just religion as any other type of thing that brings a group together, but what's classic about religion. He gave us some specific details about how hard it is to keep kind of the moral power of society going, the moral connection, that group connection going. And he showed us how religion in particular seems to generate this, or be this sacred canopy that links the order of earth, the nomos, with the order of the cosmos. And so this way of kind of generating security and answers and kind of keeping a group together through these incredible processes of religion. And then we also learned a little bit about threats to that sacred canopy, things like anomie, theodicy, which is the problem of why do bad things happen, and then also religious pluralism. From that point, we moved to what you would consider some classic elements of religion. So we visited with Victor Turner and Emil Durkheim as they talked about ritual. Victor Turner talking about liminality and communitas as these stages or phases, that's a better word, phases in society that ritual helps us get through. And he also talks a little bit about rites of passages, which are important ritual moments for individuals. And then we had Durkheim's beautiful definition and really huge kind of understanding of the importance of ritual for bringing a community together, for generating and charging up these totems or symbols, collective representations, and the ongoing effect that those have back on us for really generating kind of the moral cohesion of society. Then we moved on from ritual as an element of religion to belief as an element of religion, especially looking at Max Weber's classic argument in the Protestant Ethic in the Spirit of Capitalism, where he looks at how belief may work, how it may work in kind of a unintentional way, but how it can work as a switchman to kind of change what seems to have been what you might have predicted to be the course of history, how this value rationality can shift the outcome behavior and in his example lead unintentionally to capitalism. And then at the end of the week on belief, we read a little bit from Christian Smith's book on evangelicals to learn a little bit about their beliefs, but also to see how about, even though they have some very distinctive beliefs, how some of their behaviors are actually quite similar to the behaviors of the mainline Protestants that he lists in some of those charts. Differences with those groups, but also similarities, telling us that religious belief can't explain everything. It can give us a very important kind of insight into a group and give us a sense of differences and kind of relationships with the world, but how it can't explain everything. And then finally this week, we asked the great big question, which is religion dying? Noting that sociologists from the beginning of the discipline might have predicted that we would have never taught this class because they figured that for various theoretical reasons that they had, religion was on its way out in the modern world, in what we call modernity. And then we just evaluated arguments of of those who said that secularization is occurring, those who said, no way, it's not occurring, and then what I articulated as a middle path of saying there are pieces of this theory that can help us to understand how religion has changed. Now, a quick look at what we're going to be doing going forward. Right after the exam, we're going to talk some about individual religious experience. So one more element of religion we'd really expect to be present. Spend a week talking about cults, a very different form of religious organization than what we've been studying. Then we'll spend a good chunk of time on church, state, or religion and politics, which is one of my kind of favorite areas of the course. And then we're going to move into how religion can transform society, whether through violence, what we would consider as a harsh way of religion interacting with society, and then also through social movements and some of the bases that religious groups and ideas have been for producing social justice and social change in our society and in other societies. So that's the big grand overview. I would encourage you as you to listen to what that overview was as you kind of quickly look down that sheet of terms to know for the exam. I will be pulling from your quizzes, probably not verbatim, probably not the exact question from the quiz will appear on the midterm, but a version of quiz questions will appear. So those will help you to study for the exam. And then we have this mandatory question that everybody has to answer, the short essay question, and then a longer essay question. As you start your quiz, make sure to really pay attention to time. It's important to get to those essay questions because that's where basically 2/3 of the points for the test are. So it's important not to leave those for the last 15 minutes of the exam, but instead to really give those a lot of time and thought. Send me those questions, help me help you. This is not a big trick or a big setup next week. I'd love for all of you to do fabulously on the exam next week. It'll be challenging, but it's definitely something that you all can do and that you all can succeed on. So that's it for now. You guys are doing great. Keep it up. Let's get through this midterm and keep succeeding in the class. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.